teacher of the game. So you see those guys' technique and fundamentals and different things like that. With that group. Each and every week, better come and bring your A game. And you truly look on it, it's a 5-game playoff, and it's one and done. And you better be playing and hoping you're peaking and playing your very best football when it comes to that. And what you find is, at the end of the year, teams should be playing their very best football. And I think right now you look at this Morgan team, they're playing really good football. I mean, anytime you start to see the team's style of play and stuff manifests itself through the kicking game and the way that they're playing defense, you know that you have a football team that's definitely trending in the right direction, drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and are playing inspired football. So it's actually fun to watch when you turn on the tape and watch them run around and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to have to match that intensity and that sense of urgency and go up here with a good game plan and execute at a high level to give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Okay, appreciate it. Great. I'm sorry. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Cavil.
Yes, this is Kenyatta with Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As Nathan talked about your offensive line, I want to talk about the running back, particularly Jared Hunter. As you know, the sophomore 5'10", 25 yards, had a breakout game with 149 yards, got in the end zone twice. With just above his average carry, which was so impressive that he had like 12.4 yards a carry. So talk about his play in this matchup. This past matchup, if you would.
I think Jared just, he found the groove. He really fell into his zone and was seeing things really well. And he's got really good vision, really good balance, and those type of things. So when he gets into that groove where he's really seeing it and feeling it, he has the potential to have a good day. There's no surprise. And Jared's a special football player. Everything he does, he does it intentional. He does it with purpose. From the weight room to the classroom to the way he conducts himself around, campus and the meetings and everything. He's a pro. And his approach to what he does, and it really comes through and it manifests in himself as he continues to mature and get older and get better as a football player. And he's probably, you ask any coach in our building who would be the best all-around football player, and I promise you, 8 out of 10 would say Jared Hunter. He can play on special teams. He can play on defense. He probably can do anything we'd ask him to do. He's just a really good football player.
Follow-up question is regarding the next matchup. Obviously, it wasn't only Jared Hunter that was able to pick up big yards, but the running back committee, as well as your quarterback, got in there with some plays as well, averaged 290 yards. And you're coming up, you got that done against the Bulldogs, South Carolina State, that usually is pretty stingy on the defensive side of the ball. But now you're going up to Morgan State. As Nathaniel also said, this is a chance to have whoever comes out of this game has 2 straight victories, closes out on the season. Howard has a chance to get a share of the championship, co-championship, and a lot going on there, but you're going to play against a pretty stingy Morgan State defense that you alluded to that's playing well on that side of the ball. Talk a little bit about that matchup. And are you particularly looking at the ability to continue to run the ball in this game coming up?
Well, yeah, our identity is there. It starts with being able to establish the run and stop the run. That's a team thing. And yesterday in the team meeting, as I discussed with our team, I said, the overall general basis of our whole program, day one, when I put up the plan to win, this is how we're going to win here. It's centered around one thing: play great defense. And we're going to have that come Saturday. We'll have to play our very best game on defense. They got a back that's already over 1,000 yards. Shifty, more than capable of, breaking the game open at any time. We have to do a really good job of tackling him and getting him on the ground. So we're going to have to play really good on defense, which translates directly to how well they've been playing in the kicking game too. I know a lot of people want to just focus on offense, defense, but when you turn on the special teams in the kicking game, they perform and play at a really high level in the kicking game. So we're going to have to match that. And it's going to be you're going to have to go play a complete game of complementary football, offense, defense, and in the kicking game. And we're going to always want to establish our run game. We're going to want to establish putting the ball on the ground, dictating and playing to our terms. And you do that through, being able to run the football. And then, it opens up things in the passing game and different things like that. So this is definitely, for us, it's going to be a program identity game because that's what we're going to hang our hat on and have to go play our best football.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thanks, Doc. I'll be honest with you. I prefer the polo.
I'll work on it. Thank you.
All right, James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody on the Hill are well. Can you talk a little bit about your quarterback, Mr. Quentin Williams, all conference academically as well as on the gridiron? He's special. What are you seeing in Q?
Just continued growth. I mean, is it always perfect for him? No. Is it always clean for him? No. But such as being a quarterback, when it all goes well, the quarterback gets a lot of credit. When things aren't going quite as well, the quarterback has to deal with a lot of the negative backlash of that as well. So just continued, maturity and growth mentally for him, and being able to handle what that's all about, and then continue to, to take the strides that he needs to take to improve. And the things he needs to improve in. I mean, he didn't play as clean of a game, I thought, this week. Again, I mean, he did some really nice things, and then there's some things that are routine things that we got to make sure that we're capitalizing and hitting on. He knows that. He's able to handle that. He's harder on himself most times than anybody can be on him. And that's a part of the process, too, getting him to understand that, hey, there's going to be some times in there you're going to miss some things. You're going to miss the best ones in America at the elite levels miss a throw or miss a read or miss something at times. So you give yourself a little bit of grace, climb back inside and get ready to go. So I think the biggest thing with him is just that continued growth and maturity and those type of things. And, a guy that's a junior going into, coming back to have another year, we continue to make the strides he's making. We'll expect, big things out of him this weekend and on into the future.
Coach, we've talked over the last few seasons, and you've talked about the development and restoring the glory, if you will, at Howard, just through hard work and guys working together collectively. Talk about what you see in your program right now. And this Saturday is a golden opportunity for the Bison to continue marching up the hill, so to speak.
Yeah, I think everything is of course, everybody wants that quick fix, right? Microwavable, quick deal. It's a process, and we're not going to be able to do that here. We have a few different challenges, academic profile wise, and without not being able to load up or take transfers at any point in time in their collegiate career and those type of things. Is we're going to always have a different way of doing things, and what we have to do is put a lot of stock into development. Both mentally, physically, nutritionally, the whole deal, which is a little bit more of a process than most would have to go through to get there. But once you got it there and you have the model for it and the formula is working, it usually is something that becomes a machine and takes care of itself. So we're still in the process of building that engine, so to speak. But I love in this journey, we've had our ups and downs, our ebbs and flows, and our challenges, and every one of those moments have become teachable moments that we can learn something from. Last week's experience going down to Central and taking it on the chin the way we did there, and that long bus ride back to sit there and let all those things, those thoughts and doubts and wonders go through your head, but then pull it back together on Sunday, go back to work, go back to boarding, and take on South Carolina State and come out on the other side of it with a win was definitely another step in that process of us developing what we truly want to be on a consistent basis around here. And that's the big thing, is once you get it there, now you got to consistently hold yourself to what that standard is, and each and every time you go out and compete, and making sure everybody understands what that is, hold each other to that, and is accountable to that. So we're still building that engine, and turbine is still being sharpened and refined and all of those type of things. But like where we are, and this week will be another big, another step to watch and see, truly where we are as a program.
Coach, the MEAC has phenomenal coaches. Last weekend, yourself and Buddy Pugh, X's and O's. And this weekend, it continues. You go into Baltimore, the rivalry. He's a championship coach over there. Just talk a little bit about the coaches and then also the opportunity to play in this game, two cities, 38 miles apart. And this is big time for MEAC history and HBCU.
Yeah, all those things are really big, and I think that's what you want. That's what you want to be a part of when you walk into this deal. Like I talked about going down to Central last week in that environment. That's what you want to walk into. You want to play in those type of environments. So to have this game, Baltimore, DC, you're right. There's a lot of rivalry right there. There's a lot of closeness, a lot of connection. So expect it to be a really good crowd. It's a noon kick, so hopefully everybody will get up, get out of bed, and arrive early. It's gonna be the late arriving 2:00 crowd in the middle of the second quarter or what have you. We want to get it. I'm like Coach. I agree with him, Coach David. Let's get everybody in the seats and let's create this environment that these young people deserve to have and play in, especially in a game like this. With this magnitude, proportion, like you said, the closeness of the cities, the program. But you see Coach Wilson's pedigree starting to just show up all over the place in that program and on that team when you watch them play. And like I said, it's actually fun to watch. If you're a football guy, you love watching the progression of what's happening over there and those type of things, and know that you're going to have a heck of a ball game on your hands, which you should expect, which you should want, and which you should hope, because now you go be your best, and they're playing their best, and whoever comes out on top of that was ready to go that day. So we're going to do what we need to do to make sure our football team is locked in, understand what we're going to face, and go out and play our best football.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Scott, good morning to you. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. I want to look toward the future in terms of after this weekend's game against Morgan. As you assess your team going forward, you mentioned that you don't build through the transfer portal. So with that being the case, what is most important in terms of positional needs for your team on offense and defense moving forward to 2023?
That's a good question, Todd. I think that's constantly evaluated, right? For whether that's interior D-line, what you need to do there to kind of bolster your size a little bit, and those type of things. Increasing team speed, overall team speed, which typically you build through your DB and skill positions and those type of things. So I usually attack it from those intangibles. Where do we need to increase our size and strength? Where do we need to increase our team speed, overall team speed, and those type of things? So, being that we only have 63 scholarships, and one of the big things for us is the APR challenge that comes with being an academic school. We have to have retention. We have to have big time retention. We cannot make mistakes in recruiting, and a guy only be here a semester or a year and then fail out, or can't continue the academic rigor here and fall behind, because then we have NCAA implications and APR implications. So our challenges are unique and difficult amongst. I don't know what everybody else has to go through academically, but I know, just speaking for us, recruiting takes on a whole different spin for us. It's academic. It's can they thrive in this environment and then play at the elite level that we need to play at to be a championship caliber team. So it's a challenge, but it's one that we're up for, and we do a great job with our programming in-house to make sure that we're able to facilitate that as far as with our talent and growing and creating this smarter, tougher, more disciplined together identity that we talk about, and then we have to make sure we have the academic piece too as well, to make sure we can take care of these young men and get them what they need from an academic standpoint. So when you ask that question, yeah, we're going to have to build, but we have to build it, in a different way. So we're going to go out and attack speed, size, and guys that can, make it here in this environment.
Also, Coach, finally, and this is a hypothetical in terms of being that the MEAC is a 16 conference in football. Hypothetically, would you be in favor of a round-robin schedule where the teams played each other twice?
Oh yeah, I think you got to look at the young people, how the players are going to perceive that. We don't want to have the perception of that because we're a smaller conference. We have to beat up on each other twice. I guess then look at the NFL model. They usually play each other twice, get together and play each other in a division twice. So I haven't really thought about that a lot, Ty, to be honest with you. But I do think you want to make sure you're not doing anything to diminish the image of what that looks like and what that could portray for us being a smaller conference that we have to play each other twice. And then how does that come off in the end, and how do you figure out or employ who's the winner when we may be 1-1 split against two different teams in the conference, and how do you decide who's the conference champion or co-champion or however you're going to dictate that. I think there'd be a lot more to have to go into that to do that.
I appreciate you just entertaining that question, Coach, and good luck this weekend and good luck going forward in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it greatly.
Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. It was mentioned at the top that if your program wins on Saturday, that they will share a slice of the MEAC championship. It's first since 1993. That's a really long time from 2022. What would that mean for the program to be in that position to actually say, hey, like we've progressed in such a way where we're at the top of the heap in the conference?
Yeah, I think no one expected that we would have a chance to do any of the things that we're doing, except for probably the people that are in this building and that are here every day, training and building and working and developing and learning how to believe and trust and commit and do all of those type of things that we would have a chance to be sitting there, especially the way that our schedule was set up and not play at home and be 1-5 and all that kind of stuff going to conference play. But we had a football team that believed and kept believing and know that they're good enough and know that we're building and trending in the right direction internally. And then that's all that mattered. So to be sitting here, with this opportunity for our program is huge. The big thing is you still got to finish. It's all good and dandy and all those type of things to be sitting in the position and have the opportunity to do it. But you got to excuse me, we're in the side of a dorm, so I don't know what's happening right now downstairs, but with the noise. But you got, you get yourself into this position, but at the end of the day, you got to finish it. And if you don't finish it, then it's, to praise yourself for getting to that moment is one thing, but to not walk away from it the way you want to walk away from it is another thing. So we have to finish this weekend.
Right. As a quick follow-up to your first question, when did you know that your team had kind of turned the corner, that they were getting it, that they were starting to buy in, that they were starting to do some of the things you had hoped that they would do throughout the season?
I think when they decided that, it was important for them to have accountability to each other, to come together and to accomplish, certain goals and certain things that were just set in the offseason for them to accomplish as milestones, whether that was through community service, whether that was through how we train in the weight room, whether that was through, whatever it is that we had set up as, as kind of hurdles in the development deal, to see the team come together and accomplish certain things that way, to see our numbers would get bigger, stronger, and faster. Just to see the commitment level of the togetherness come together with the team. I knew that we're building that chemistry piece that is very critical to the development of any good football program and team. We're starting to come together. And when you start to build that chemistry piece and the accountability is there, you're going to give yourself a chance to win football games. And so when I saw that, and I think for us, it was the first time we had a continuous offseason with a winter, a spring, a summer, and then go into a fall. This was the first full cycle that we've had as a football program since I've been here. And to watch the development through that cycle was kind of a key indicator that we would have a chance to improve. And we did. And I know we had our challenges in the beginning of the season. And so to overcome those challenges, to keep our heads on straight, to keep playing, to keep believing, to keep getting better is what's got us in this position right now. And now, like I said, we have to finish.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Coach Scott, those are all the questions for you. Thank you for being here and good luck this week.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Take care. The Bison make the short trip to Baltimore, Maryland to take on Morgan State at 12 p.m. on Saturday. The game can be seen live on ESPN3 and will re-air Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. on ESPNU. Up next, we have North Carolina Central head coach Trey Oliver. Good morning, Coach Oliver. How are you?
I'm well, Karen. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good to see you. Congratulations on being the MEAC representatives at this year's Celebration Bowl. But can you give us an opening statement about Saturday's game at Norfolk State?
Yes, we played a very physical Norfolk State football team. Um, this past week, we had the flu bug and strep throat going through our program. So our locker room looked like a triage unit in pregame. We were depleted. We had a lot of guys out and trying to fight through that. I think we only traveled 4 linebackers, and our secondary was really sick. But our guys fought through it, and we limped through the game. But we started off slow. Norfolk came down, drove the ball down, and scored on the opening possession. We kind of shook back and scored, blocked the punt, which I thought really changed the pace of the game. And then we had a great 2-minute drive going to halftime. But again, coming out in the third quarter, opening drive, they come out and answer. So they're a very physical team. They would not go away. They would not give up. And but it was a great win for the program. And like I said, we were lucky to get out of there with the win.
Awesome, Coach. And what can we expect from the Eagles this Saturday at Tennessee Tech?
Thank God we're done with the MEAC schedule. But we go to on the road to Tennessee Tech, hostile environment, and remember the OVC conference. We're looking forward to playing those guys and competing outside the conference. Hopefully we can go out there and play well and represent our conference well, and people will put some respect in our name. But we're excited about playing those guys, and we're going out here trying to get a win this weekend.
Awesome, Coach. Those are my questions. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with Dr. Cavell.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Wills, inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Oliver.
Yeah, good morning, Doc. And like Coach Scott said, man, the polo looks much better on you. Nice suit, but I like the polo a little bit better.
I understand. I didn't want to do it 2 weeks in a row. Y'all didn't think I had anything in.
Just clean it, man. It's okay. Just get it clean and we'll be okay.
I understand now. Understand. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. A lot of superlatives to go around on the team, but obviously we only have so much time in this. So I'm going to go with your quarterback, Davis Richard, because obviously he's been pretty much consistent all year long. Had another big game, 347 yards, as you know, 22 of 31, with 4 touchdowns. Did have the interception earlier, but he bounced back. Talk about his leadership, his continued play from his maturation throughout not only this season, but his career thus far.
Yeah, he's grown so much, as a player and a student of the game. This week, he did have, a solid day. I thought he could have played much better. If you saw the game, he missed quite a few throws, throws that we were hitting last week. And it was quite windy up there. So a couple of those balls that were overthrown, I think it kind of got hung up in the wind a little bit. But he's an all-around very good player. He can beat you with his legs like we've seen all year long, and he's extremely physical. And again, this week he scored on a rushing touchdown and runs over a guy, and it was a violent collision. But he pops up and he loves that. But he continues to get better every week, and we expect a lot out of him. It starts with the quarterback. He touches the ball every play. So when he plays well, he gives us an opportunity to win the game.
My next question is moving forward to Tennessee Tech. You talked about having the flu bug, and a lot of folks that you had to leave behind are really concerned about how they were going to be able to play. You talked about this being a non-conference game. You've had 2 solid wins against non-conference opponents. One was in the top 25, as you know, New Hampshire. The other one was your rival, North Carolina A&T, that is in the hunt for a championship along with New Hampshire in their league. But now you go up against Tennessee Tech. Talk about not only what your expectations in this game look like in regards to your team finishing out the season strong, but also how does the effect of what took place with the flu and the fact that you wrapped up the conference, how are you going to attack this matchup?
Right. Well, I was asked earlier today about, are we going to rest the guys and everything else? No, we're going to go out here and try to win this football game. The guys with the flu and strep, they'll be okay. We're getting the meds in them. Our sports medicine staff has done a really good job with keeping those guys hydrated and getting meds in them. Did have a guy pop positive for COVID yesterday morning. So it's been a struggle. And that's what we talk about next man up. And I think we have a really good football team. And I talk about not having that true star power. and I don't want to take away from our guys. I think we're very, very talented. But when you see those 3 or 4 stars, but it's a next man up mentality. I look out there Saturday against Norfolk, and we had 3 true freshmen playing offensive line for us. And, you just have to be ready when your name's called. But we're going to give it our best when we go up here to Tennessee Tech and try to bring home a win.
No doubt, Coach Oliver. Again, congratulations on the victory and the bid to the Celebration Bowl, as well as the championship. I know the team worked hard at it, and it's been a pleasure to watch you all. And I look forward to this Tennessee Tech matchup, particularly because of the non-conference component of it. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
And I will get my shirt back. I will get my shirt back on.
There we go. Hey, we're in about 3 weeks.
Well, we got an opportunity for you to wear it next week, Doc. So expect to see you in it next Monday. Next question comes from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on all of your success. It's James Hill with MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. By the way, I also have one of those shirts. Let me ask you a question. Talk a little bit about the MEAC crown, what that means to you, the Central Eagles Nation, and how special it is to know that you guys earned it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I mean, it means the world. When I've had an opportunity to be a part of a lot of championship teams and Black College National Champions and all that. But when you're running a program and you're leading a program and you get a chance to win one, it's totally different. And, I can't say enough about my support staff, my coaches. Like I told them after the game, I didn't catch a ball. I didn't score a touchdown. I didn't make one tackle. I didn't call any plays. So, I take my hat off to my support staff, everybody that's involved with the program. But, it was great to see the alumni that are so excited. Everybody, it's a little buzz around here now, and folks are ready to go to Atlanta, and, we can finally talk about that. But, that's why I came here. That's why the administration brought me here, is to bring a championship back to the nest. And we were able to do that. And I'm so fortunate to be surrounded with good players and good coaches.
Latrell Collier, Mookie, and Mr. Davius Richard, Pee Wee, as you call them. Talk about those 2 gentlemen. And when we look at the Norfolk game, we see that you guys scored 28 points in the second quarter.
Yeah, we got started a little slow, and then we picked it up a little bit. The guys, when I think Norfolk opened our eyes with that first drive. But if you look at what Jamari Taylor did, he came in, he was a spark. I think he averaged over 12 yards a carry. And then the receiving room, those guys are, by committee. You don't know who's going to show up. Well, all of them are going to show up, but you don't know who's going to show out each week. And I thought our offensive line, gave us an opportunity. But it's a team effort, like I say, and every week you don't know who's going to be the guy. So they just be ready when their name is called. But Mookie's just a blue collar guy. P, we had a huge day, again rushing the football, and obviously took advantage of some things they gave us passing. But I think it's a team effort over there on that side of the ball.
Coach, in closing, this week you get an opportunity to play at Tennessee Tech. And then you shift gears and you get back into HBCU, and it's all about the ATL in the Celebration Bowl and representing. But just talk a little bit about going out there and representing HBCU as you play Tech this week.
Yeah, that's important. And like I said, it's about us representing our conference and people respecting the brand of football that we play here. You look back at our schedule, and we beat the #1 team in the Big South. North Carolina A&T, we beat the #1 team in the CAA, New Hampshire, and we still not considered a top 25 team. But we just got to go out here and play well in your non-conference games. We did stub our toe against Campbell. That was probably our worst game we played in 2 years. But that's why they play the game, and we have another opportunity to show our brand of football and how strong our conference is.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week, and I'm sure we will see you in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too. Next question is from Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, congrats on the Saturday's win. You mentioned earlier how important it was to win the MEAC for the alumni of the school, but for yourself, you're an Eagle. You play at the university. You've had success there as a player. Not a lot of coaches get to go back to their alma mater and lead their team to a championship. What does that mean for you to do that, being a former football player at the university?
Right. And like I said again, it means a lot. I keep in touch with a lot of the former players, and I know what it meant to them for us to be able to win this football game and win the conference. Both my parents went to school, and my dad played ball here as well. So it meant the world for me to see, the smile on their face after the game, and we were able to, punch our ticket to the Celebration Bowl. So, for you to be able to, and I challenge our guys, all the time about it, you can put the university on your back and go out here and perform for them and make the university happy. And it's thousands of alum across the country. And, those guys embrace that, and they work their butts off every week, every day to try to get to this point. And again, it's just a really good feeling to be able to bring a championship back to the nest.
All right, as a quick follow-up to that, I know you got a game against Tech on Saturday, but the Celebration Bowl is in the offering. Have you started to scout potential opponents for that game, or are you just going to just wait until there's a final result to find out who you guys play first?
Yeah, absolutely not. I've never in my career looked ahead at another opponent, whether I was a coordinator or a position coach or now as a head coach. It's all about Tennessee Tech. And, I haven't even looked at any other team. I haven't looked at their stats or anything like that. We'll deal with whoever our opponent will be after the Tennessee Tech game. After this game, we'll look at some possible opponents and break down some film and put together a tentative scouting report. But as of today, nobody's talking about the Celebration Bowl. It's all about Tennessee Tech.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Oliver, Ty Miller with Black College Football Weekly and the Power News Radio Network. I want to talk about Tennessee Tech. Can you tell us more about their quarterback, Jeremiah Oatsville, and how similar he is to Davis, rather?
Their quarterback?
Yeah.
Nothing alike. Our guy is much more athletic, runs a lot better. I think that their guy has a strong arm, and he's talented. But I think we have a true dual threat quarterback here. He's more or less a pocket passer, and he'll push the ball down the field. But I think they're two completely different type talents.
But there are times he can hurt you with his leg. Have you seen him on tape in terms of what he could do running the ball out of the pocket?
Well, if we play like we did Saturday against Norfolk, anybody can hurt us with their legs. I mean, we got pressure on the quarterback from Norfolk, but I didn't think our pass rush lanes were very good. And, we missed some tackles and let the quarterback beat us with his legs quite a bit running the football. So we have to even up our pass rush lanes. If you're supposed to be on the left-hand side of the quarterback, make sure you're in the quadrant or the right side. And then we have to wrap up. We missed him in the backfield several times, and I think he had like 80 or 90 yards rush in their quarterback. So we must improve that. And but just as far as him in the run game, I'm not overly concerned about it. We'll get those things correct as far as pass rush.
And I know you don't look too far ahead, Coach, but also can you just talk about the fact that you need to keep this momentum going by winning this game against Tennessee Tech?
Well, that's our motto, and every week we talk about it, just getting a little bit better this week. And I was hoping that last week our Norfolk State game was going to be the best game that we played all year. I didn't think that it was. I thought we played well in certain areas, but we still have ways to go and ways to improve. But we'll get those things corrected. And that's from 19 to to now. It's all about improving. So 19 to 21, 21 to 22. Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday. It's always about getting better. So it'll be a tough task, but we're excited about traveling to Tennessee and getting a win.
And oftentimes, Coach, when a team plays a big game like you did this past weekend to wrap up the MEAC championship, the following week, there's sometimes, could be a mental letdown. And how do you guard against that with your team?
I think our guys are excited to compete. And when you, again, I think the big thing is going out of conference. And being able to compete against a non-conference opponent. So we have another opportunity to play football, and whenever you have an opportunity to play a game, I think guys are excited. So I don't think we have a letdown because we won a conference championship this week, and this game means a whole lot to us going to Tennessee.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm well, Stephen. And you?
Doing well, doing well. First off, congratulations to you guys for clinching the conference title, punching your ticket to the Celebration Bowl. Wanted to go back a little bit to your first season. Obviously, you're coming in, new and fresh, and you're trying to, build a winning culture there at NCC Central. Just talk about, what in that first season kind of laid the groundwork for where you are today. I mean, obviously, you come in and, players change, you had a lot of movement on the coaching staff and over the years and things like that. But what stayed the same and kept you guys grounded from that, maybe that first year that now you look back and say, hey, we got through that and that's what helped us really get here?
I think it's you have to have the right people in your program. And I think that we've done a great job recruiting. We have had quite a bit of staff turnover, and not to say that anybody was a bad person, anything like that, but it's about fit and the chemistry. There's a lot of good coaches that just don't fit in with your vision. And when you have an opportunity to bring guys in, young men, it's about character and guys that fit your program. It's not just about how good they are athletically or whatever the case may be. Is this a young man that's going to fit our program and somebody that we can win with? So I think when you have the right people in place around you, you have a chance because I can't do this and I have not done this by myself. So we've done a great job recruiting, bringing young men in here, like the Pee Wees, like the Andrew Smiths, Devin Smiths, the Jakai Brevards, and all these guys. And I think we just took our time and built it the right way with high school guys. And I'm really pleased to see the development and growth in these young men. And, you look at it, we still got a very young team.
Right. And lastly, on your coaching staff, you got Mr. Tony McCray. I believe he was at A&T. You were on the staff at A&T when you guys brought him in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously he's been in the Celebration Bowl, played in the NFL. And, just talk about what he's brought to you guys this year as an assistant coach, as a young assistant coach.
Tony McCray, I did coach him when I was at North Carolina A&T. And he's one of the most competitive folks I've ever met in my life. He's passionate about the game. And, it's funny to see whenever you watch these young coaches, man, I was there one day, but when you watch these young coaches coach, it's so funny to me. But in our DB room, I have two coaches, he and Michael Sewell, both of them are first-year coaches. And Sewell G8 for me last year, and Tony McCray was, like you said, recently in the NFL. But I used to sit in the room and help monitor and oversee it early on when they first got here. But now I just turn to the loose to them. So they have run the secondary, and, I kind of oversee things and make one or two suggestions. But Tony McCray, outstanding person. I love him to death. Can't say enough about him. And he and both Michael Sewell are going to be outstanding coaches. I hope I can keep him around here for a while.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck, and we'll see you down the road.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Coach Oliver, thank you so much for your time this week or today. We'll see you next week or next Monday. Have a good week.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a good day, Karen.
Thank you. Take care. The Eagles close out the regular season at Tennessee Tech on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Up next, we have Delaware State head coach Rod Milstead. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. How are you?
Doing well. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game at Morgan State, please?
Yeah. Well, we didn't play well at all. There's three phases of football game, and we played well and won. Lost the offensive battle, lost the special teams battle, and I think we did pretty well on our defense, as we've done all year long. But it was a rough week for us, starting off the week, not making any excuses, but the flu bug tore through my team bad. I mean, really bad. And, we played the way we practiced. A lot of guys missed practice this week. They just couldn't go. We tried everything, hydration, meds, the whole 9 yards, but that flu bug hit us hard, hit some of the coaching staff as well. So disappointed on how we played, but just got to tell people, man, that flu bug. We thought COVID was a problem, but that flu bug is something serious when you're trying to build a football program and get it ready to play on Saturday.
All right, and you have a game coming up against Campbell this week. What can we expect in that one?
Well, the biggest thing is we gotta get healed. Our training room has looked like a triage as usual, but this time it's been more serious because we got guys that are coming in with those flu-like symptoms again. So just to get the guys healthy to play, and Campbell's a really good football program. They played well against Central, and then they played well against A&T. They're big up front. They have a big running back. They do a lot of good things on offense. Defense, they're a lot like us. They're a scrappy group of guys that struggled against A&T, but they've had a pretty decent year as well. So we got our work cut out for us. The best thing is that we need to get everybody healthy and by Saturday, and build ourselves a good game plan against them.
All right, those are my questions for you. We'll begin with Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Hate to hear that the team is going through the flu. I certainly understand the challenges associated with the flu this time of the year. Can you talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball? Is it a case that just that is spread through one side of the team in regards to them being in a collective group, or is it the depth of your defensive that allowed maybe them to be able to kind of fight through it more than what you saw with the other two units of the game?
Well, the funniest thing is that I just listened to Trey talk about the flu on their team, and then I started thinking during his press conference. It was the majority of my offensive guys that had the flu. I mean, I missed out of 5 linemen, 3 of them were gone pretty much all week long. Didn't have any tight ends, a couple wide receivers. So it was tough. It was tough. And I'm not making excuses. Coach Wilson had his team ready to play. We did have, I want to say, 2 or 3 defensive guys, but the majority of the guys that had the flu was our offensive guys, and they just struggled. I mean, a couple guys came out to practice during the weekend and tried to go, but we had to send them back in. It was just too much. Body aches, chills, weak, vomiting, diarrhea. It was the whole 9 yards. So we got to find a way to get everybody healthy and be able to play the way we did. We were in South Carolina. I felt that our team played well, and we were building on that. But the flu bug just ate its way through our football program. And then our quarterback, we're down to our 3rd quarterback, and he took a shot, and we'll find out, sometime today. He got knocked out of the game, so we'll find out sometime today if he'll be ready to go or if we got to go to number 4. So it's going to be a challenging week for us, but we'll have our guys ready to play. We play our last and final game at home. It's senior day. And so our team will be up to play.
Yes, and you've had a challenging season with these ups and downs for various reasons that you know quite a bit about. But you have this last game at home, and then you have the fact that you have a chance for a winning season. And so if you can get the collective body, find a way to kind of fight through this, talk about what this will say for this team with this type of season where you had so many different challenges, not just, physical challenges and injuries that happen, but also psychological and mental challenges in terms of what that looks like. So I can imagine to be able to fight through this and even have a chance at a winning season says something about this team and this program. Can you talk a little bit about that, particularly with this non-conference matchup in the season against Campbell?
Well, Doc, I'm glad you asked that question. This weekend, I'm a sore loser. I tell everybody that. I get real quiet. My birthday was last Thursday, and I didn't make mention of it. And a lot of players asked me on Friday, well, Coach, why didn't you say something? I said, because it doesn't matter. The only thing I cared about was getting a victory, and that's all during the football season. I mean, since I've been playing football, my birthday has always come during the season, and it never mattered. And so I'm at that point that it's all about football during football season. This has been a challenging year for me. I've never been through anything like this, you know, and I guess my biggest question to a lot of people is where do the strong go when they need help? You know, when you're a head coach, you have to be strong for everyone else, your players, your coaches, everyone. So where do the strong go when they need help? And what I usually fall back on is I just get down on my knees and I pray, and God usually gives me the answer, or give me the comfort to move on. But this comfort has been something that I've needed since September when Coach Broussard fell out, and then October 17th when it was final and he had passed away, it became even more difficult, and just trying to keep the team together. I mean, you had players that sometimes just break down and just lose focus, and they're thinking about coach, and but coach wanted us to continue on. And I think we've done a good job as a staff, keeping everybody together and moving the needle along. This win this weekend will be big for our program, big for me as a coach. But being able to pull it all together, have a winning season, and being able to build for next year. We're going to have to make some additions to our coaching staff, of course, because of the loss of Coach Bo. And like Coach Oliver said, finding that right chemistry to take it up another notch. I thought that the team has played well in spots, especially on our defensive side, but very inconsistent on the offensive side of the board. And that's something where Coach Bo was the OC and not making any excuses. We've already said next man up, and we got to find a way this weekend to make sure that we not only get the dub, but honor him in a special way for our seniors so that they can go out champions.
Coach Milstead, I enjoyed being able to discuss football with you, but more importantly, life. I want to say happy belated birthday, and certainly amen to your statement. And I appreciate your openness to tell the world, because as much as you may need it, there's others that need to hear that counseling as well. So thank you for putting that on the table.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC countdown to kickoff. I hope you and everybody at Delaware State are well. Can you just talk a little bit about life and football and academics and the environment and how it can build human beings and you go through ebb and flow?
Well, this game we call football, and I've said this 1,000,001 times, it's a vehicle. Okay, it takes you to certain destinations and places, but eventually the vehicle is going to stop. Okay, and the life lessons that you've learned while you were on that vehicle, it should last you a lifetime. You look at you use football and the 4 quarters that it's in a football game. You use that in life. So most of our players are in their first quarter. You're talking about from 0 to 20. They're in their first quarter, and then some guys are in the second quarter from 20 to 40. And then most of the coaches are either in the second quarter or the third quarter, which is 40 to 60. Okay. And then that last quarter is from 60 until the day you pass. That's the 4th quarter. I'm 53. I'm in the 3rd quarter of my life. And I use that analogy so that our players understand how precious this game is, but how fast it goes, and your preparation, your dedicated, your commitment, those 4 years in college or 5 years in college, they go by quickly. So each play, each practice is something that you cherish. Each friendship is something that you cherish. And then, we've been trying to build our program around that ideology that your friends, that your lifelong friends, you're going to make them while you're in college, and you're going to keep them even after when you hang that helmet up. And it goes the same way with your academics. If you're putting in 2 hours on the practice field a day, then you need to put in 2 hours of studying outside of the classroom on your academics. And that's how you become successful. Repetition breeds championships. Repetition breeds goodness and doing things the correct way. So those are the things that we're preaching here at Delaware State, and our guys have really bought in. I think the one spot that I'm going to increase for going forward is going to be that mental health piece. That you think you're prepared, but you're really you're really not. That grief thing is something that's real. On top of the world's problems, most of these kids that we have, they're COVID kids. Meaning that they went through something that you and me have never gone through before, and we all went through it together. Some of them didn't even have senior years in high school, and we have to understand that their mental state is very, very fragile because of the strongholds that were held on them during that COVID time. Although you say, oh, well, that was 2020 and now we're in 2022, doesn't mean that didn't happen. Trauma is something that's detrimental. When you've gone through something, okay, you may put it to bed, but eventually it's going to come out that closet and be right in front of your face again. And you're going to have to deal with it again and have some mechanisms that allow you to deal with that and to cope with what you've gone through and understand that it's in your past and that I have to have some type of system to move forward. So for us here at Delaware State, I'm definitely going to implement that over the off season and work strongly with our mental health administrators here on putting something together that can help our players cope better with grief, mental challenges, academic mental challenges, social mental challenges, and any aspect that they need to help them be a better successful person. And then that will lead to a better football player.
Coach, this weekend, a golden opportunity, 5-5, 2-3, senior day, alumni stadium. You look over, you'll see Campbell. There's a golden opportunity there to put a stamp on this season. Just talk a little bit about going into Saturday. And again, it's always great to compete.
Well, it's going to start with our offense. And I said this yesterday in our meeting, going to start with the offensive line. Every time we've had a victory, our offensive line has played well. Okay. When we have not done well, it's because the offensive line has played poorly. So I've had that sit down conversation with them. And of course, everyone on here knows that I play the offensive line. So you're probably saying, well, why is your offensive line playing poorly when you were an offensive line coach and you played in the NFL and as an offensive lineman? I get it. I understand it. Okay. And so I'm actively taking a stronger standhold this week and putting more time, more focus on our offensive line and putting the pressure on those guys. I know they can do it. They've done it several times before, but our offense goes where our offensive line goes. And if we can open up the holes, we can put any running back there and he can be successful. And we've shown that time and time again. Our receivers got to be better. Quarterback, whoever's back there as the signal caller, we got to give him time to throw the football. So it's all going to depend on our offensive side of the ball, how well we do. If we can score points, which I know we can because we've done it several times this season, our defense is going to do everything they can, like they've done all year long, to prevent people from getting in the end zone. And I remember some of my complaints were, hey, coach, they had 400-some yards. Yeah, coach, but they only scored 2 touchdowns. Okay, so we've been able to keep people out of the end zone, and that's something that we didn't do last week. But if you look at it, those 4 turnovers that we had a block punt, which is special teams. We had a long kickoff return, special teams. We had 9 sacks, which was an interception for a pick 6 offense. And we had a fumble recovery, which gave them a short field. So you're looking at 4 scores right there, and it had nothing to do with our defense. I think defense really gave up one pass in the end zone, and they've really, really played well. We got to help those guys out, and we can have a good day on Saturday. But we got to have 3 sections of our program playing well.
Coach, in closing, Mr. Brooks Parker and Mr. Goings, your linebackers, they're playing lockdown defense. Just talk about how they get after it and what that can look like.
Well, if I told you Brooks Parker was a walk-on, you'd probably slap me, but he was. Brooks Parker was a walk-on who played a lot of football his freshman year, which, for me, it was a no-brainer. Mid-year, I went to the AD and asked her if we could give him a scholarship, and we were able to do that. And it's been a blessing ever since. This year, he's playing super lights out. And I really believe that he has the talent to really play on Sundays. He's very smart football-wise. He's already graduated. He's working on his master's. Just a phenomenal football player, works hard in the weight room. And to see him really, really shine, I wish he had another year in our program. Going to miss him after this game right here. But man, he just had a phenomenal season and playing against everybody, whether it was in conference or out of conference. 55 was all on your screen and all the time. And I'm so proud of him. And Mario Goins, as a sophomore, he's the guy. He's the quarterback on defense. He puts everybody in place. He puts everybody in place on special teams as well. And just a student of the game who will graduate this year. And then he'll have 2 more years to play and he'll get his master's. He wants to go in the medical field. But those two, if I had to put an MVP right now on our defense, those two's names would definitely be in the running because they're really, really playing good football for us right now.
Thank you, Coach. I wish you guys health and strength going forward, and we'll be looking forward to covering you guys.
Fantastic.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time this morning. Those are all the questions. Happy belated birthday. I hope everyone gets better and good luck this week.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, you too. The Hornets host Campbell University in a 2 p.m. matchup that can be seen live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Joining us next is Norfolk State head coach Dawson Odoms. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. How you doing?
Doing well today, Coach. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game against North Carolina Central?
Well, first of all, congrats to Coach All and his football team. They've been pretty good all year, and the process has paid off for those guys. They do an outstanding job. Got a good football team. We started fast. We made some plays, but if you look at us throughout the season, usually it's the second quarter or the fourth quarter. And that just comes from, development and just really strength and nutrition. It's just a matter of being able to sustain that. And these guys been together for a while. They built their football teams, and you can just see that. And you ain't able to come back. You make some runs, but teams are able to make some plays against you and take advantage of some areas where you're very young. So again, I take my hat off to them. We made some plays. We did some good things. We ran the ball better than probably we ran it most of the year. Our quarterback got away with some scrambles and kept some plays alive. We do some really good things, and then at times we do some really bad things. But it was a physical football game now. And like I told them young guys that's been playing, they throw it around in there. And when you look at it at the end, it gets away from us. I really think it started with a spark for them. They made a couple plays in that second quarter, and then it got away from us. But they're a good football team, but we're a competitive group. It's just the ball not bouncing our way. We understand that. You got to score. You got to stop them from scoring, and that's the name of this game. And when you're not good at doing that, then the game gets away from you.
All right, Coach, and what can we expect from the Spartans on Saturday at South Carolina State?
Well, we've been playing a lot of guys, and we played a lot of guys on Saturday. So I guess I'm going to call Coach Pugh and see if I can get him on the phone. And, maybe all the coaches are standing on the field like a scrimmage game, get ready for spring ball. I may call some timeouts on my own, just let them get a little bit of water. So, but we're going to go down to South Carolina State. We're going to play hard, play well, and try to finish off this season with a W. And I think that's always the case. And I think our guys understand that. They came out every week and competed at a high level, and we're going to try to do the same thing this week.
Awesome, Coach. Those are all the questions I have for you. We'll now turn to the media, beginning with James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. I hope you and everybody at NSU are well. Can you talk about Mr. Jordan Lennon and what you see in him?
Well, the true freshman is a very talented running back. He has the power, the explosiveness. And the thing with a freshman running back, they don't see things as well as they're going to see it in year two. But he's a good football player. He's a good student, a better young man, and he'll probably eventually become a leader for our football team. But we know we got talent in that freshman class, and they're going to get bigger. They're going to get stronger. They're going to get faster. And we understand that. And it's just getting to an all season where we got about 50 guys in our program that's never been through an all season. But when you got players like Jordan Lennon coming back, you can see the fruits of that labor going to pay off eventually.
Coach, at wideout, Mr. Felton, just talk about his development again. As you say, there's a group of Spartans who are clamoring to improve.
Well, exactly. He didn't have the statistical day that he would like to have, and hasn't had that kind of year, but he is as advertised. I think he's seen more double coverages all year than probably any other receiver, probably the same as Shat for South Carolina State. I think when you're good, people are going to take away your best players and say somebody else has to beat us. And he's still come to work every day. Tremendous individual. He has an unbelievable work ethic, and he's one of the better players on our football team. You look out there, he's on special teams, and I always tell him, man, always carry yourself like a pro and act like a pro. And he's done that since I've been here as the head football coach. And I really think the sky's the limit for this young man because he has great potential and unbelievable work ethic to go with it.
Coach, the coaches here in the MEAC are phenomenal. Can you just talk a little bit about the coaching, the quality coaching, and obviously yourself and Coach Buddy Pugh, defending national HBCU champions, Celebration Bowl, MEAC champs. You guys get an opportunity to match wits, and it's always a beautiful thing on Saturdays in the MEAC.
Well, I always tell them, man, coaching has a lot to do with it, but a lot of it is overrated. A lot of times it's players. I think the team that has players that can make plays is the one going to be in position to win this conference. And you have to understand how the conference is built. And I think we have a good understanding of that. This is a conference that's going to play, all these coaches play a physical brand of football. You got to have great play at quarterback, and you got to be able to compete at a high level for 60 minutes and beyond. The trench warfare is either going to be against you or for you. And you got to build your team for that warfare. And I think that's the MEAC. And that's really how the MEAC has always been. You look at it, the team that has the offensive player of the year candidate or defensive player of the year candidate, usually if that's a quarterback, you're going to have a chance. And I think everybody understands that in order to be successful in today's game, you got to have great quarterback play. You can't have okay quarterback play. You got to have great quarterback play, great decision maker, a great leader, because that's what your team is built around. And when you talk about that and you talk about these coaches, I think everybody's looking for that recipe in building their teams to be successful in the MEAC.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Mia Berry.
Hi, Coach Odoms. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you.
Okay, to start it off, this weekend, you not only saw Trey Oliver take home the MEAC title, but another one of your former assistants, Chennis Berry at Benedict, his team claimed the SEAC title. I wanted to know, how has it been for you seeing guys that you have mentored and brought up in the football world have such success? And also, how do you think their having success also plays into your coaching tree and legacy?
Well, I always think it's great when you've been in a locker room with young men for a long period of time as coaches, and you're able to, hopefully they take some things from you to help them to be successful. And I tell people all the time, the process works and it's going to work here in Norfolk. Everybody say, well, you look at it, Coach Berry's having success at Benedict, and you say, how's that success taking place and such, because the people at Benedict believe in the process. You say, how's it happening for Trey over time? It didn't happen immediately, but you can see that the process pays dividends when everybody believes in it. And that's all it is that you come to the table and you put your recipe on the table and you say, these are the things that we can do to help the process be successful. And the people at the table say, okay, let's do it. And then you begin to see the process pays off. And that's what I'm happy for, because a lot of these guys that have been under me are using that same process. You hear them talk about chop wood, carry water. We're firm believers that over time, the process will pay off. It's about getting a collective group of coaches, a collective group of players to buy in that and believe in that process. Everything else will take care of itself, but it starts with the head coach, getting his assistant coaches on board, and the players believing in it. Once you get that in place, then you'll begin to see that process will begin to take off. But ultimately, everybody that's a part, everybody that touches your players have to believe in that same process. It can't be a weak link over here or a weak link over there. And vision only take place because everybody believes in that vision. And that's why I'm so happy for those guys.
Okay, Coach, second question for you. You and that 1995 Central team, you had the opportunity to learn under Larry Little, and now the HBCU world is kind of reaping the benefits. Many of your teammates are coaches right now. Can you speak a little bit about being under that Central umbrella, learning under Larry Little, and seeing you and your teammates, our head coaches, impacting the lives of men across the HBCU world?
Well, playing football, that's probably the second coach that really poured into our lives as a person that really loved us and cared about us. And that's sort of how I try to coach today. He was an unbelievable man, funny. Football was supposed to be fun, but he made sure we did all those other little things that we came to college to do and held us accountable to do them. But Coach Little is one of the best. You know, we still talk. He hasn't texted me to tell me tough one on Saturday yet, but we talk, we communicate, we check in on each other. But that's what we do, man. We was one big family, and when you love the people that you're in the locker room with, great things happen, not only during your times in college, but also when you leave your university, great things happen for you because you're built the right way. And I haven't changed the way that we try to build men here at Norfolk State University. I really believe that it's a spiritual deficiency that's lacking. And I'm going to always try to pour into those guys because I believe in that. I really believe in that. And let me say before I continue that we're praying for those that are involved at UVA. We know a lot of coaches on that staff, and we're praying for that program because we understand, and then I'm glad my coaches were ahead of their time back then when they poured into us and really wanted to know how we were doing on and off the field. I think that's important because we're dealing with things right now that mental health is real, and the life struggle for these young people today is real. And if universities don't take heed to that, then we're failing these individuals. I think you have to do more, and more is required as it relates to mental health because they're struggling and they're not all going to come ask for help. But I'm an advocate for it. I believe in it, and I think they need more and deserve more because it is real.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. You have a blessed rest of today.
Thank you.
Connor Real.
Hey, Coach. Connor Real, 13 News Now. I wanted to touch on something you just said. Would you be able to expand a little bit on what you mean when you say that there's a spiritual deficiency lacking?
Well, I think as believers, we're all believe in something that's greater than who we are, regardless of what that religion is. And some guys that you may not have grew up in that, but I think if you keep living, eventually you're going to have to turn to something. And I believe that. That's just my belief. And just try to instill that whatever it is that young men are worshiping, whatever they believe, whatever religion they are, we don't try to direct nobody in one way or another. But I do believe that at some point in time, things happen in life to where you're going to have to lean on somebody. And I'm happy to be that person that our players can lean on. I'm happy that we have counselors available that our players can lean on because things are going to happen. And I believe that's all part of your spiritual development, is understanding that somebody is going to need somebody. And if everybody work together, we all can get there.
Yeah, and not to be reductive in any way, but do you feel like football can fill that void, especially for young men?
Football brings young men together from all aspects. It gives an opportunity to create a brotherhood, and that brotherhood is a warm feeling because, again, when something happens, that brotherhood gets stronger, because when you're in the locker room with somebody, that's really a lot of time to bond, and that creates memories and lifetime relationships. And it requires all of us to lean on each other. So during difficult times, we've had to do it this year. We had to lock elbows, and we had to look each other in the eye. We have to fight through some adversity. But guess what? If you don't have something to lean on, it's tough to make it through adversity. And that's part of the mentoring aspect of being a coach, is that you have to give guys, ideals. You have to open their minds and help them as they go through a lot of adversity, because one day they gonna become fathers. They become leaders for this country, and they gonna face more adversity than they ever would as playing football. So it's life lessons being taught through this game, and that's one of the reasons why I coach it.
And you speak about adversity and how it affects the guys. For yourself, you got things rolling at Southern almost right away. And ever since then, it's been above 500 for you year in and year out, and even better than that most years. For this year, have you either learned some things going through some of the losing that you've gone through this year, or have there maybe been old lessons that you haven't had to adhere to for a decade plus that have kind of come back up for you in your first time in a long time coaching a team that is struggling to this degree in the win column?
Well, I think first thing you have to do is identify. You have to identify why. And once you identify the why, now you can put some things in place to say, okay, this is the reason. Now, how do we fix it? And I think the off season is going to play big for us. Recruiting is going to help us. And we're getting a new locker room. That's going to be beneficial. We got add nutrition. So that's going to help us. And as we continue to do those things, you're going to see a different type of player on the field, because I really believe that in order to be successful and sustain success, you have to develop. You're not going to just keep piling your team up and think the transfer portal is going to keep you at the top. That's a hit and miss. You can get a good one out of there just like you can get a bad one out of there. So the biggest thing for us is being able to understand that chop wood, carry water is about development. You have to develop guys. They have to come in at 150, 160, 170 their freshman year. By the time they sophomore years, their shoulders going to get a little broader. Their mind going to make better decisions. Then next thing you know, their biceps and triceps are going to form from living and eating the right way and pumping steel like they love it. That's the only way to develop guys in this game. You have to understand the weight room is the backbone to the success of football programs. If you don't understand that, I don't care what process you have, you can't make that work in football. The weight room is the defining line for separation of young men and older men. This is a physical football game we play, and you got to be able to be strong to do it.
And then
now I want you to know that was free today. I normally charge people for that.
We appreciate it, Coach. Anytime I can get anything for free, I appreciate it. I would have paid a couple bucks for that answer. Actually, that was great. And in your opening statement, you talked quite a bit about quarterback play. Kind of an interesting game for Otto. He ran the ball well, but he seems to still be having trouble pushing the ball downfield through the air. How would you grade his performance, and then how would you grade his development this season?
Well, I think it's tough. I think the evaluation process is not only just the individual, but you also look at everything that's around that makes the quarterback position special. Everybody knows that you might have a receiver open, then you might not have time to throw it. And the running game also helps the passing game. And not being able to run consistently also creates some issues. So it's a lot of things that goes into the evaluation that's not necessarily on the quarterback play. When you talk about evaluating the quarterback, decision making is number one. And that's something that is solely on him. Are we getting into the right play? Are we going to the right person with the football? And if we're doing those things, then I could say he's doing well as a decision maker if that's part of the evaluation process. So I look at the complete piece of the pie and says how all this tying together as evaluating the quarterback. And I believe that he's gotten better from the start of the season. We've done some really good things. He's shown flashes that he could be a really special quarterback in this league. But it's all about being consistent. And I think that's one of the things that make great players even better is that they're consistent. And when you're consistent in your delivery and your approach to day-to-day things that relate to life and football, you're going to be a consistent player. And that's one of the things that I talk to our team about all the time, is that we have to become more consistent, not only as football players, but in our everyday walk of life.
Thanks, Coach. Let me know when you start up that paid subscription service. I'll hop on there.
Yes, sir. No problem.
All right, Coach. Oh, no, one more question from Dr. Gaville.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Gaville's Inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Odom, I'll be willing to pay for that as well. It's good, great information in regards to understanding that. I wanted to go back in terms of a lot of that is about coaching as well as mostly about the players. But in terms of Coach Oliver, in terms of you all having the history that goes back, as well as him being on your championship staffs and things of that nature, is there any component of that where, although your opponent's on the field and doing that game of action, but after everything is finished, is there some proud moments in seeing somebody that you work with, really went back and played with over a period of time, having that level of success that you've experienced yourself?
I was proud of him, at the handshake after the game. I thought his team was ready to play. He's done it all season, and he do it in his own way. And I'm just happy for that. They done a great job. I know other assistants on that staff as well. And you just got to take your hat off to them, because it's hard to win a championship. It's hard to win a game. So let alone a championship. So I understand that. And I think that he's done an outstanding job, and hope he continues to do an outstanding job, because we understand how difficult this journey is as a coach. And I just believe that we're going to get the Spartans there. We have a solid foundation to build on. Our record doesn't indicate it. I think when you watch us play, you know that it's a lull in the game. People are taking advantage of certain areas of the football team, and we understand that. But they're going to grow up. They're going to get better. We're going to recruit. We're going to build, and we're going to grow, and we're going to develop. And when you do those things, you get the chance to taste better times. And I believe better days are coming. But to him, congrats to him again, and wish them well in the Celebration Bowl.
Thank you, Coach Odom. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time this week. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. Behold, the green and gold.
The Spartans travel to Orangeburg, South Carolina to take on South Carolina State at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. Watch the game live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have South Carolina State head coach Buddy Pugh. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. How are you?
I am well. All right, Coach, can you start us off with an opening statement about last week's game against Howard?
Well, we played at Howard, and congratulations to Coach Scott and his staff. They did a nice job of getting after us. That team is really coming on. We've had our troubles here recently, and I guess I need to say congratulations to Coach Scott in a way, because he's got a chance to play for the conference championship this week, or at least a share of the conference championship. I guess while I'm doing that, I need to also say something about Coach Oliver, Coach Trey Oliver. I pick at him a bunch about different things, and he's gotten it done. So congratulations, North Carolina Central, Coach Oliver, you and your staff. Everybody's doing a nice job that way. And then, you know what, I need to say something about Shannon Berry too, because Coach Barry at Benedict is right up the street from us. And, and all those guys are Southern, I guess maybe guys from that same lineage. And, we really do respect and think that they got a great method. So we enjoy listening to those guys. I enjoyed listening to Coach Odom just a minute ago talk about all of the different things that they do. So I appreciate you guys, and congratulations to you all. Also got a call this morning early. This morning, one of the young men, well, actually, Coach Tony Elliott, who's the head guy at UVA, and that staff, they're going through some tough times this morning. And one of the young men is from down here that lost his life in that incident this morning. And we've got some guys on our team who were also from that same high school. So we're on point trying to make sure that our guys are having the ability to talk about, their situation, to grieve a little bit and whatever, in particular cases where, this thing is, gun violence is so bad now until we don't know exactly what's going on with that and mental health and all the different kinds of things we've seen to be involved with post-COVID, that kind of stuff. So let's pray for those guys and make sure that we, keep them in our thoughts and hopefully, they can, figure out exactly what all, went into this particular situation in a way where we can not have to suffer these kinds of incidents again.
Definitely, Coach. And what can we expect from the Bulldogs this weekend against Norfolk State?
Well, Norfolk's, they won one game, two games, somewhere in that neck of the woods. I don't know. I can tell you what, they don't look it right now against Central this past Saturday. I thought they were as good a looking football team as I've seen in this league this year. And, they got off to a good start and they found a running back. That scares you a little bit. They got a guy, who's a big time back that way. And, it's going to be, a tough game for us. We've got our work cut out for us. We've got lots of pieces hanging out there. We're down to our third and fourth in a lot of different positions. And, we've had our issues this year. So we're going to get in here and try to see if we can get a plan together for Norfolk coming here Saturday. It'll be a big day for us. It's senior day for our team. We've got 12 or 13 guys somewhere in that neck of the woods that'll be playing their last game. We want to do a good job of sending them off in the right way. So we're looking forward to seeing Norfolk State down here this coming Saturday.
All right, Coach, thank you for that. Those are my questions. We'll now begin with the media questions, starting with James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. I hope you and everybody in the Bulldogs Nation are well. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, James. How are you?
Pretty good. Shaquan Davis is a generational talent. He looks like a guy who can do a lot of things and tremendous upside, a gentleman that people feel like they will see and pay money to see for on Sundays. Can you talk about that gentleman and what you see in that quality student athlete?
Yes, Shaq is a big time talent. I think it's pretty obvious that he's got all the size and speed and all the different kinds of dimensions you have that way, and he's a smart guy. He understands the game. We've had him now, I guess now going on 4 or 5 years, some of that neck of the woods. You don't ever know what anybody's eligibility status is right now, but it looks like he's probably going to go out and try his luck as a next level guy here pretty soon. And we wish him the best. We look forward to seeing him, on Sundays down the road a piece.
Coach, BJ Davis, can you share your thoughts on that gentleman? Again, another quality student athlete is part of the Bulldogs Nation.
You're exactly right. BJ makes a lot of plays for us. And, it's anytime you are a outstanding player that way, you're always in the spotlight in a way where everything is magnified a little bit. And, there's some good and some bad in us all. And, BJ makes a lot of big plays. And, sometimes, you got to, make sure you take the bitter with the sweet.
Coach, years ago, I was covering baseball. Darryl Strawberry said injuries are part of the game. It resonated with me. Just talk a little bit about the health and injuries and that component. A lot of times people don't really take that into account.
Well, you're exactly right. You got an opportunity to experience the actual next man up mentality in this game. And we've had quite a few injuries where we've had guys go out and have surgeries in some pretty key positions for us. So that's part of the game. You just got to understand the fact that you got to be deep enough to deal with the circumstances that way. And we're dealing with it at this point, not quite as effectively as we would have liked, but at the same time, it is what it is. We're doing the very best we can.
Coach, in closing, senior day, Saturday, you get an opportunity to play the Spartans. Just talk a little bit about that one. And again, it's MEAC football, and it can be a great afternoon.
It is just a chance for both of us to finish off the year strong. Gives us an opportunity to lead into the 23 season. I think we both got lot bigger intentions for the next year, and we're hoping that we both can play as well as we can here at the very end.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, James.
All right, Coach Pugh, that looks like all the questions we have for you today. So thank you for being here with us. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. South Carolina State hosts Norfolk State in a 1:30 p.m. matchup, and the game will be live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Morgan State head coach Damon Wilson. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. How are you doing?
Doing well. Can you give us a recap of Saturday's game against Delaware State?
Yes, ma'am. I think it was a hard-fought game. Our guys came to play, and it was something that we had talked about earlier in the week with regards to ending the road game, a drought, I guess, that we had here, and I was unaware of that drought too early in the week, and it was something they decided that enough was enough. And we played pretty well, definitely in two phases of the game. I mean, offensively, we didn't get going like we'd like to, but we did enough to win the ball game. So we're excited about that.
Awesome, Coach. And what can we expect from the Bears this weekend against Howard?
It's going to be a physical football game. Howard's a really good football team. Coach Scott done an outstanding job preparing those guys week in and week out. We understand what's at stake for those guys. We understand for us, we want to send our seniors out the right way. I mean, it's kind of a local game where we're maybe 45 minutes apart. So we're recruiting some of the same guys. So it's a great opportunity to see, a team from Washington, D.C. and a team from Maryland, lock up on Saturday at 12 noon.
Awesome, Coach. Good luck. Those are my questions. We'll now have a question from James Hill.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. It's James Hill with the MEAC Countdown to Kickoff. Oftentimes when coaches take over programs, it takes a few years for them to lay their foundation. And you're laying the foundation, but the fruits and the wins are coming more quickly than can be in many cases. Can you just talk about whatever you're doing is working at Morgan State?
Well, it starts with my players, the players and the staff. My staff has done an outstanding job preparing these guys. Every week, the players have done a great job just listening and buying into the program. We lost a couple of games that were really close last play of the game. And, those games, we come out on the other side of those games when we have a little bit more experience and a little bit more belief in the process. And I think that's something that we continue to go through with regards to everybody buying in and doing all of the little things right. Whether it's study hall, whether it's film session, whatever it may be, you have to do everything right to be rewarded on Saturdays. And I think that's something that the guys are learning as we continue to move through the season.
Coach, earlier in the season, we talked about the difference between, say, maybe a Bowie State University and Morgan State in terms of some of the resources and things. As you look back, having gone through this season so far, what are you seeing as some of the differences, if you will, on this side of the Beltway?
As you mentioned, the resources, we have a strength conditioning staff, that are responsible for having our young men prepared to play. Where at Bowie, we had to do it kind of, internally. We had one guy that oversaw the whole department, and he did his best as he could, but it's a little different. We have an academic retention coordinator here that does a great job monitoring the classroom work and that sort of thing about student athletes, and she does a great job. Where at other places, you may have to do some of that legwork yourself. So we just, like you said, have more support from a staff standpoint, as well as just having the guys overall buy-in.
Coach, Morgan and Howard, MEAC, HBCU rivalry. Talk about being a part of that legacy. And again, on Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
It's going to be big time. Look, man, I'm quite sure our fans are going to come out to support the guys, as well as Howard fans are going to travel up the Beltway a little bit. And then it's going to be November weather. We're looking at probably 40 degrees. And we're going to, for a hard-hitting football game, I think it's going to take place Saturday at 12. I think we have a lot to play for. We have an opportunity to win 5 games. I think that's something that hadn't been done here in a while. So we want to continue to build and go into our 23 off-season plan on a high note. So that's something that we're focusing on all week.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach Wilson, it seems as if those are all the questions. So you get to go quickly after having, oh, no, Dr. Cavill got a question. I won't let you go. Go ahead,
Coach
Dr.
Wilson,
Cavill.
I'm not going to let you get out of here without me getting a chance to harass you a little bit with a couple of questions to see your mindset of this season thus far. I know some of the questions have been asked about the matchup, but in terms of the rivalry, you've been in a lot of different ones from a lot of different levels. But I want to ask you, in terms of being able to take the next step with your program, chance to have 2 games on a winning streak to close out things. Talk about the nature of your team continuing to play and close out the season strong.
That's big. We talk about, when we came into this thing, I think we were projected to finish last. And that's something that, our guys understood coming into the year. And what I told them, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So it gives them an opportunity, gives us an opportunity, like you said, to finish on a high note, not meet the projections, kind of upset some folks, I guess, if you will, and not finish last in the conference. But also gives us the motivation moving into the offseason workout and the recruiting season to let guys know what we're doing here at Morgan State and get them excited about being student athletes here at the university.
Theoretically, not only not finish last, but you'd finish in second and you'd stop another team from getting a share of the championship. So a lot of motivations go in this game other than just playing well. But one follow-up question I have, in terms of the defensive side of the ball, you've played really solid there for really the entire season. Obviously, offensive, you've done some things, particularly on the rushing side, but I wanted to focus a little more on the defense. Coming into the program, I know that's a focal point on your overall, but talk about what has made this defensive team a little more special in terms of what you've seen over this year.
I think Coach Sewell and the staff, he's put a defensive staff together that really works well together, understands, has some of the same philosophies, and those guys really get after it each day in the office as well as on the field. I know Coach Sewell and I have been together over the last, 14 years, I think it is, and so we know each other pretty well. Offensively, we mix some different coaches in from different staffs, and we have some growing to do, there. But also, we were fortunate to have some guys defensively trying to stay healthy all year long. I think we're O-line wise, I think we have 2 original starters that are still playing right now. And I think we've probably had 7 or 8 surgeries already as well. So we've been kind of taping them up as we go. But we don't make excuses at all here. So we'll be ready to roll. Recruiting season is underway. We want to get some more guys to build some depth in this program, and we're going to continue to move in the right direction.
Tell Coach Sewell I said hello, and I'm watching it. I know it. Tell him I got my eye on him. Watch it there.
I appreciate you, Doc.
Good luck in this matchup, Coach Wilson. I look forward to it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach Wilson, those are actually all the questions. Have a good week. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next Monday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Take care. The Bears host the Bison of Howard on Saturday. Kickoff is at 12 p.m. and the game can be seen live on ESPN3 and will re-air Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. on ESPNU. At this time, we'd like to conclude our press conference. I'd like to thank the media members who are on today, those who will watch later, and our sports information officers for their help with this call. Our final call of the season came really quickly, but it'll be next Monday, November 21st, beginning at 10 a.m. As always, for up-to-date news on MEAC football and other sponsored sports, log on to MEACsports.com. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, and have a great football week.